Okay, boys, let's bring it home with a round of pepper.
All right, you heard the woman. She said it's time to go home and let's get the hell up out of here. 8-6 the Sports Bros podcast. But before we go, you know how we do it. We do a round of pepper. We do 3 topics, rapid fire style, kind of, sort of, not really. We're here to enlighten, educate, and entertain. It is all around good fun. That's how we do it over here at the Sports Bros podcast. And I'll go first. All right. For some strange reason, I forgot to put the year, but on this day in history, I think it was back in the early 1900s. All right, dig this. Minor League Baseball's most lopsided baseball game ever. All right. It took place deep in the heart of Texas. All right. We got the Corsicana Oilers. They defeated the Texarkana Casket Makers. Take a wild guess of the score, fellas.
21-20.
No. All right, B-Live, you want to guess the score of the game?
Why do I feel like this game may have gone into triple digits? This just sounds like it's going to be something really ridiculous just based off the names of the teams. So I'm going to go 107-74.
No, that sounds like an NBA score, but I got one for you here, all right? The Corsicana Oilers, 51. The Texarkana Casket Makers, 3.
I would have packed up at 20. Ain't
Mercy
no
roll.
Way. Ain't no way.
Yeah, I gotta leave. I got somewhere to go. When you get 30, I gotta get out of there.
30, yeah, that sounds about right. You know what? I'm packing my.
At 25, my hamster got the runs. I got to go. But all right, fellas. So here's what happened. Right, I did some research. Right. Okay. So Jay Clark of Corsicana, Texas, of that team, he hits 8 home runs in one game. All right.
Wow.
Apparently, a lot of these went over the right field fence, and it is only 210 feet from home plate, which means bop, blink, gone. All right. Imagine that 8 times, right? All right. Still, though, that is an impressive feat. His 8 homers were a part of a 21 home run barrage overall. 21 of them things, all right? So,
who's the pitcher that dealt most of it?
It don't matter. They became a casket maker for real.
I'm over here like if after I'd have thrown probably my 7th or 8th home run, I didn't watch those. I'd have went over and just, you know what? I done went over and just tore down the fence. Ain't no need to even have the fence for this. No, 210 feet. Ain't no. I'd have been hitting players. It is no.
Somebody. All right. Yeah, so here we go. All right. So the record established on that very day. The most team at bats with 87. All right. Runs 51 by a single team. Hits 53, I guess. 5 or more players with hits in a game, 7. All right. Extra base hits, 27, 4 doubles, 2 triples, and 21 home runs.
That's insane.
Okay, let me I'm gonna throw this out here. I'm gonna throw something out here real quick. How many triples were there?
2.
How in the world are you getting a triple with a 210 yard field?
In right field. That's usually where you hit your triples on right field line.
Right, so you telling me the whole team was trash, not just the pitcher. That means the right fielder is trash. That he was able to get to third base with the field being that small. You know, Eddy Cool, this your pepper point. I'm sorry, I'm being ignorant right now. I apologize.
I figured that would spark the ire of here at the Sports Bros podcast, because if this don't deserve its own episode of What Happened, I don't know what does. Over to you, Scottie D.
All right, well, I'll stick on the topic of baseball since you led me that way. Guys, remember maybe 3 or 4 episodes ago where I mentioned that Jacob deGrom had given up 2 runs and had 2 losses, and that the Mets just weren't giving him any run support. Well, here we are. He's now 10 starts in, things are getting a little bit better with the Mets. They're 32-25. His record's up to 6-2. But the crazy part is he now has more RBIs than runs allowed. He has 5 RBIs and only gave up 4 runs this year. His ERA is 0.56. That is nasty, incredible stuff. That is a crazy number. He now has become the betting favorite to become the National League MVP. He went from Cy Young favorite to MVP favorite. The last pitcher in the National League to win the MVP award was Clayton Kershaw in 2014. But, hey, good for the Mets for backing him up. This guy's going to cruise to the Cy Young, assuming he doesn't get hurt. He got scratched Friday with some tendonitis, and he's due to be back on the mound against Wednesday. But Jacob deGrom is something to watch this year, guys, because he's so far. I mean, it's early. He's putting up a historic season so far. Be-Live, over to you.
Yeah, I don't like it because he's in the same division as my Braves, and he's filthy with it. Absolutely filthy.
Wild.
All right. So my first pepper point is gonna be something interesting because Scottie D, you recently joined the ACC as a Pitt fan. Eddy, cool, your opinion doesn't matter at all. But there's been a somewhat of an argument over the past few years of who's been the greatest ACC running back of all time. Me, as a diehard Clemson fan, hashtag all roads lead to Dabo. Ezer, had to go ahead and throw that in there. No second time mention. But I want to put Travis Etienne up there in those numbers. I want to put him up there, man. When it comes to just yards per play, touchdown, et cetera, what he's done. A lot of other people that put Cam Akers from Florida State as one of the greatest running backs that came out of the ACC. Both of them very young talent. Etienne is going into his rookie year in the NFL. Cam Akers is going into his second year in the NFL. Both of these players being one of the best running backs in the history of the ACC could most likely be playing wide receiver in the NFL. I spoke of Travis Etienne earlier, a few episodes ago, but now Sean McVay and the Los Angeles Rams want to try out Cam Akers at wide receiver. And so at some point in time in the next 10, 15 years, there will be no running game whatsoever. It'll be 5 linemen. You might have a tight end and 4 wide receivers, flex position, scat back, some other. Yeah. You don't want to see it. I'll still root for Derrick Henry because I love the running game. I really do. I like to see somebody bust through the numbers. But we'll see. We'll see how this what it turns into. Will it turn into these offensive being dynamic and hard to defend? We shall see. Eddy, cool. I'm going to hand you the ball so you can run with it.
So in the future, 2 things are going to happen as far as football goes. It's going to be damn near Arena League Light and Corsicana. Never forget Corsicana. Jesus Christ, never forget Corsicana. All right, so for my second pepper point, ladies and gentlemen, it's about Le'Veon Bell. That's right. At one point, he was heralded as one of the best running backs in the league. But this time, Le'Veon, we should file this under keep your mouth shut, nobody cares, and you'll keep the heat off you. But as you know, if you give an opinion, it'll be subject to public criticism. Eddy Cool told you that. Never forget it, all right? So he says, I'm done playing for Andy Reid. All right? He says he's done playing for Andy Reid. And he's faced some scrutiny. I think the Honey Badger said to him on Twitter, a lot of guys will say things, but the only problem is they won't take accountability for their actions on the team. Jug, 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 jab, 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 all right? These young kids with the Twitter beefs and going back and forth, you're doing too damn much. You're doing too much, all right? So Le'Veon Bell says, I'll admit that's something I could have and should have kept to myself. You think? And I apologize about that and that only. But, big old but, I don't regret what I said because that's how I feel. They call this doubling down, if I'm not mistaken. Le'Veon Bell, this energy that you put on Twitter and being Twitter fingers, I'm going to need you to find you a team somewhere and put that same energy on the football field. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to file this under the stuff you should have kept to yourself. Learn a lesson, kids, here at the Sports Bros Podcast. Shout out Le'Veon Bell. Over to you, Scottie D.
Yeah. Get off Twitter, Le'Veon Bell. All right. So this past weekend, Novak Djokovic won the French Open in 5 sets over some dude named Stefano. Whatever his last name was. But he was down 2 sets and then came back. Tsitsipas or Tsitsipas or something. I don't know. Anyway, that was his 19th Grand Slam victory of his career. 20 is the record, and that number is held by both Rafael Nadal and Roger Federer, 2 guys that are going to be competing against him in Wimbledon coming up here in a few weeks. The crazy thing is that Djokovic now has 2 Grand Slams this year, and he's going for the calendar slam. He's halfway there. The last guy to do that was Rod Laver in 1969. I didn't realize that had not been done again, where somebody won all 4 majors or all 4 Grand Slam tournaments in 1 year. And he actually is going for something else that is going to be interesting to keep your eye on, guys, called the Golden Slam. That's all 4 in 1 year and Olympic gold. The only person to ever do that was Steffi Graf in 88. Djokovic is only 34 years old, and he's definitely got a crack at winning well more than the 20 that currently Federer and Nadal have. So keep your eye on the Joker for the rest of this year, and going forward, he might be the guy that etches his name as the greatest tennis player of all time. Who knows? Be Live, over to you.
All right. So I'm a segue. We're gonna talk about Scottie was talking about one Joker. I'm gonna talk about another Joker, and then I'm gonna go into actually what is my pepper point. But we were talking about Nikola Jokic winning the NBA MVP award. I want to take this opportunity to break down the 2020-21 voting results when it comes to the NBA MVP. And this is actually just going to be first place votes. You get 100 voters. They vote first, second, third, fourth, fifth. First place gets 10 points. Second place gets 7. Third place gets 5. Fourth place gets 3. Fifth place gets 1 point. And it's a total points, and that person gets the MVP. I'm just going to break down the first place votes, though. The winner, Nikola Jokic, he got 91 first place votes. Joel Embiid, he got 1 first place vote. Steph Curry, he got 5 first place votes. Giannis Antetokounmpo got 1 first place vote. CP3 got 2 first place votes. Those players that I named had a grand total of 99 first place votes. So there's 1 first place vote that's floating out there. And fellas, y'all want to take a guess as to who got that first place vote?
Kyle Kuzma.
To who? What?
Deadlift
Shrimps.
Wow. Close. Not even.
Kyle Kuzma wasn't it either?
But I'm just going to go ahead and say this. This guy didn't even start for his team. The one with 1 first place vote went to Derrick Rose. Derrick Rose got a first place vote. He got a first place vote over the likes of Luka Doncic, Damian Lillard, Julius Randle. Julius Randle started on the team and got less first place votes.
Wow.
Rudy Gobert, Russell Westbrook, Ben Simmons, James Harden, Scotty's boy, LeBron James, and Kawhi Leonard didn't get any first place votes, but Derrick Rose did. And for all those LeBron stands out there, I'm going to go ahead and put this out there because they put up a stat that in the 18 seasons that LeBron has been in the league, he's received a MVP vote in all 18 seasons. I need y'all to cut it out. Because this year, LeBron James received one vote. He received one vote, and it was a fifth place vote.
God,
that doesn't count. You really want to carry on the fact that he had one person out there vote for him, and what makes it even worse, I'm pretty sure that fifth place vote he got came from fan voting, because it was revealed by the NBA that the Derrick Rose first place vote came from the fans.
Oh.
So I bet money there was enough. LeBron...
It wasn't even a voter. It wasn't even a voter then. That makes a little bit more sense.
Knicks fans. It had to be Knicks fans.
Yeah, Knicks fans, yeah.
That's insanity to me. But then that turns around and makes me believe that LeBron only got a vote because of his stands. Cut it out. LeBron, one of the greatest, but Michael Jordan will always be the GOAT. Eddy cool, no look pass, the ball.
Oh, I got hit the head with the ball. Maybe I should have paid attention. All right. So anyways, third and final pepper point, I want to give a big happy birthday shout out to Scottie D, your boy, and a guy that I really enjoyed watch pitch during his career, New York Yankees legend Andy Pettitte.
Yes, lefty.
Yes, Andy Pettitte was born on this day. I forgot the year, but today is his birthday. A little quick rundown of his stats. He's a three-time All-Star in 96, 2001, and 2010. All right, he's a five-time World Series champion from 96, then 98 through 2000, and once again in 2009. I remember that team. That was a good team. That team had A-Rod and a few other guys on as well, too. He was the ALCS MVP back in 2001, and he also led the American League in wins in 1996. Happy birthday to you, Andy Pettitte. All right, Scottie D, go ahead and take us home. Third and final pepper point. Yes, sir.
Yankee. All right. So this week, the U.S. Open is going to be played at Torrey Pines out in California. And, you know, guys, we always used to back in the day say, wouldn't it be great if we had a final round pairing of Tiger and Phil? Well, we're not getting that rivalry, but we got another golf rivalry that's really hot right now. That's between Bryson DeChambeau and Brooks Koepka. Now, guys, I don't know if you realize this, but this is going on now for a couple of years. So back in 2019, Koepka posed for the body issue, I guess ESPN magazine, and DeChambeau said, I don't know why he's in that magazine. He doesn't even have abs.
Wow.
I got more abs. So Koepka tweets a picture of his 4 trophies and said, I don't, but I'm 2 away from a 6-pack. So that was kind of where that thing got started off. Then Koepka kind of made a few comments about Bryson DeChambeau's pace of play, taking too much time reading putts on the green, and which case DeChambeau said to his caddy, tell your boss to come to me and talk to you. So there's some early shots fired. Then in 2020, last year, you remember that after the quarantine, DeChambeau showed up big and strong. He buffed up, he bulked up. Koepka had a few things to say about that, kind of mocking his diet. And I don't know if you guys remember, but last year, DeChambeau also had a couple run-ins with rules officials where he was bringing an official over to talk to him. One case, he thought he shouldn't have to play his ball because there was red ants around it, to which Koepka also went to play the ball and said, oh, there's an ant. Yeah, so a little bit of shots fired there. Koepka, I think, was kind of playing the cool guy role, whereas this other nerd is trying to buff up and be cool like everyone else. And that brings us to 2021 at the PGA Championship. Koepka's giving an interview with the Golf Channel, and this got leaked later. This didn't air at the time it happened. But DeChambeau walks by. He's got metal cleats on, clanking around. He's talking, and it really annoyed Koepka to the point he threw a couple curse words at it and just kind of said, I'm distracted. DeChambeau didn't take too kind of that. He made a comment. He's playing in this tournament with Phil Mickelson and Aaron Rodgers, and Koepka tweeted out, sorry about that, Aaron. And Koepka says, DeChambeau replies, it's nice to live rent-free in your head, to Brooks Koepka. Well, now you got kind of people taking sides, and at the Memorial Tournament, fans are yelling at DeChambeau, Brooksy. And they ejected these fans. Koepka responded by saying, I'm going to buy free beer for all those guys who taunted DeChambeau. So no, we were in full-blown feud mode here. And if anything would be awesome, it would be see these two guys in a final round pairing at the U.S. Open on Sunday, or even the first round pairing. The USGA has a chance to put these guys together early. Wouldn't that be great to have these two guys just looking over their shoulder to one another all day all weekend here at the U.S. Open. So that'll give us something to look forward to. I am actually going to pick Brooks Koepka to win this U.S. Open because this course he traditionally hasn't played well on, but it's not been set up with the U.S. Open kind of rules, and Koepka seems to play bigger and bigger tournaments. So I'm going to go with Koepka. He played well in the last major last month. He's my pick to win the U.S. Open this year. But give us something to watch here. Hopefully these guys get together and get in a pairing sometime soon. That'd be a lot of fun. Be Live, over to you.
Just because the money man Scottie D picked Brooks Koepka, I'm picking DeChambeau.
I like it.
That's how deep our rivalry is.
He's the defending champion too. He's the champion.
Oh yes, sir. So, but I'm gonna finish this off with a different type of rivalry, and I have to set this up. I know it's pepper, but I have to set it up. And this is why I have to go into the 2022 NCAA football schedule, and 22. It will be 2022, not this year, but next year.
Okay.
And it's going to feature the likes of the Alabama Crimson Tide versus Louisiana State University, LSU, the Tigers. Yeah, fine. Two teams that I can't stand.
Go Tigers.
But the reason why I bring up these two teams, this game will be held in Baton Rouge in 2022. The reason why I pull this up is because there's a potential rivalry already in the making between a wide receiver for LSU and a cornerback for Alabama. The cornerback for Alabama is signing this year. He'll be a freshman this year. The wide receiver for LSU is part of the 2022 signing class. So that's why I have to go to the 2022 football game that's in LSU. Why is this a rivalry? Because it just has to be. Because these two boys, they parents, they mamas, just didn't do right. So the LSU 2022 wide receiver commit goes by the name of DaColdest Crawford. No, let me emphasize this. His name, government name, is DaColdest. Why would somebody name their kid DaColdest? Because his middle name is To Ever Do It. TOEVADOIT. So his name.
This is a true story. I've heard of this kid. This is a true story.
His name is DaColdest To Ever Do It Crawford. And now you might ask, who is he possibly facing at the cornerback position at Alabama?
Who's he lining up against? This has got to be good. This has got to be great.
It came out earlier last week. He's a 5-star recruit cornerback for Alabama. His name is JaQuincy McKinstry. You like JaQuincy, that's unique. You don't ever really see that before. But if you go to Alabama's official roster page, he does not go by JaQuincy. He actually goes by his nickname, Kool-Aid McKinstry.
DaColdest versus Kool-Aid.
I cannot make this up. JaQuincy Kool-Aid McKinstry. And he says that this was a nickname given to by it was either his mother or his grandmother at birth, because he came out with a big Kool-Aid smile. So wait for it in 2022, LSU versus Alabama, the matchup between DaColdest to Ever Do It Crawford and JaQuincy Kool-Aid McKinstry. Yes, sir.
I can't wait.
Eddie Cool. It's
the green screen. It's the Quincy see Kool-Aid is going to be the coldest. It's going to be an ice cold matchup. Whose name is what?
Oh, and this story is going to be narrated 15 years later by Ice-T.
Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know
I'm tapping out.
I don't know what the hell just happened. This has been episode number 112 of the Sports Bros podcast, and we ended with the coldest to ever do it and Ice Cold Kool-Aid, hosted by Ice-T, Ice Cube, and Water Pitcher on the play-by-play. All right, we got all our pepper points out the way. You can catch us on all of our social media platforms, on all of our social media outlets on social media. Just look up the Sports Bros podcast. Everywhere we'll have the links in the description box. But before we go, Scottie D, the CFL returns this year, August 2021, and Be Live DJ Moore did switch his number from number 12 to number 2. Any final words before we get out of here and hate watch Monday Night Raw and eat a pound of bacon?
Your boy finally, after a good period of time, has joined TikTok. Oh boy! Oh,
and I signed up for MySpace.
just and in closing,
And in closing, do something nice for yourself, and if you can, do something nice for someone else. They'll greatly appreciate it now more than ever. After that mess about the coldest Ice Cube and Ice Tray, I'll get up out of it because I ain't got nothing else. Ladies and gentlemen, keep pounding. Be good to each other. This has been another episode of the Sports Bros podcast. Goodbye and good night. Scottie, do you still standing? What's going on?
Yes, sir.
Oh, man.
Oh, you dirty bastard.
Hey, take care. Thanks for listening and watching. See y'all next week. Bye-bye. Thank you for watching and listening to the Sports Bros podcast. Check out more here on our YouTube channel. And if you want to listen to us, the full episode, the full show, check us out on anchor.fm, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and wherever podcasts are available.